If you enjoy this podcast, then be sure to check out Farm Small, Farm Smart Daily, where you can get your daily dose of farm wisdom. Tune in every day to learn the latest tips, tricks, and stories from the world of farming. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just getting started, our podcast has something for everyone. Join us as we explore topics like farm business, crop planning, soil management, and tools and technology. Start your day off right with Farm Small, Farm Smart Daily, available on all major podcast platforms. Don't miss out. Subscribe today. One of the topics I've been thinking about a lot lately is farm financial viability. So that's what this episode's about. Based on conversations I've had with you and other growers, there are, I think, a lot of farms that struggle, especially new farms, to get their feet under them. There's the growing challenges that I think many farmers have. And I think there's a lot of resources to help farmers grow better, figure out how to optimize, sell, and know that type of thing. But where I think a lot of farms really struggle, especially in the early days, whether you're doing this on the side and trying to start a farm on the side that you eventually make a full-time thing, or whether you just dive in full-time early on, is making it financially viable. And what I mean by that is financially viable is big enough to support the lifestyle you want to live, where it's not a hobby farm, it's not drastically subsidized by an off-farm job from either you or a spouse. So I put together this list of 6 strategies that I think are very universal that anybody could do to really help their farm be more viable or have a greater chance at viability. So the first one I have is control costs and spending. This ensures that profits can be maximized by keeping costs down on products that you produce. You can maximize your profits to use to reinvest and grow the business. It also means we're not just buying a bunch of infrastructure, capital costs up front that could push us into debt, which we'll get to later. And avoid spending money on things that are unnecessary or have a low return on investment. So control costs and spending to maximize your profits. One way you do that is you avoid spending money on things that are unnecessary or have a low ROI. Low ROI would mean I want to get, let's say, a tractor, but I really only need that tractor 2 or 3 times a year. Does it make sense for me to financially buy that tractor and use it 3 times a year? Would I be better just renting it? So that's how I would explain low ROI. So that's my first thought. What do you think about that strategy, control costs and spending?
Absolutely, Diego. We're in that position currently with the recession. There's a lot of things I would love to do, but we're just looking at what can we make happen that has to happen that we can see is currently essential. And we try to make decisions with time based involved in that rather than rush decisions. I've heard people say if you think you need something, rather than impulse shopping, just wait a week. And a week's not long. Our current investment we just made we're just coming out of deep winter. We put in custom-made heat pads for propagation and the microgreens table. It wasn't a cheap investment, but it's same thing. It's something that we are using continuously, and we know so if I can take a little bit of time with this one, what has it allowed us to do? We're not pushing crops like tomatoes earlier. We're still seeding on the same date, but we've gone into the greenhouse 3 weeks earlier just because of the heat pad. And you can see the growth and the quality and the color. It was about 4,000 New Zealand dollars to set those 2 tables up. And in financial tight times, that was the one investment we chose. And I could list a dozen other things I'd love to do. But I was like, it's context, it's winter, we want to get out of winter. That was the current spend we chose, and we had to just make it happen, and everything else is still on hold. So I guess when is it relevant? Can you see a return on investment? Is it going to make you super tight for a bit? And I know this is a different conversation too, but we're always looking at cash flow. What's owed to us, what's coming in next month, and so on, trying to forecast so we know when we can afford to make different investments.
Yeah, I think most people, including myself, operating at the smaller scale, are making these decisions based on a financial constraint. We don't have an unlimited budget. So often it is an A or B decision. You have, whether it's $500 or $500,000 or $50,000 that you want to invest in the farm, it's cutting that up a certain number of ways or allocating it all to one project. When you look at that $4,000 into the heat mats, there's other things you said you wanted to potentially do. What were the closest things that had a chance of competing for that $4,000 on the farm?
For roughly the same money, we're looking at a stainless steel salad spinner for wash and pack. So we're always making constant improvement in there. What else is in that ballpark? These are smaller spends, I think, which is current with the recession. I think the salad spinner is something we're really considering. I just spent another $2,000 on more of the clipper wires so I can grow all of my cukes and tomatoes on the clipper system. In the new greenhouse, I need the longer wire. And why that one's relevant at the moment, we're just starting wholesaling. So which means we've got a food distributor, they're called Bid Food, and they can distribute in our whole region, like 2 hours each way in the vehicle. They can distribute a small purchase anywhere, anytime, which we can't do that. And so just to navigate this one, we're starting with salad, we're starting with microgreens, and here's the thing, when you start in a new sales outlet, you don't really know what's going to happen, and you have to test that market for a while to know what it's going to be like, but we're confident. And so once salad gets off and we know it's this, we've just done a first delivery, we did a free sample. So they've got an amazing inventory, and so they can put that sample to every current food outlet. Like it could be a soccer club, it could be a school, it could be a restaurant, anywhere that serves food. So we're testing the market to see, we just put a sample to every restaurant that currently buys microgreens, and now like giving them a line of cocaine. Now they're hopefully going to get hooked. Where we're going with this, back to the clippers, we're super excited to see, can we put cucumbers through the wholesaler, because we can grow cukes like insane, but we can't move enough of them. And so as we test that market, we're really excited to see, is it worth increasing our cucumber volumes? What does that look like? So yeah, that was the other investment, about $2,000 for 250 clips. And we pay more for everything because we're on an isolated island in the middle of nowhere, plus income tax as it comes in. So right. Those are our current purchases.
Hello, growers. Protect your crops from harmful insects with Modern Growers Insectanet. This top-tier insect netting made by Modern Grower shields your plants from pests and harsh weather, boosting your yields without harmful sprays. Insectanet's unique design allows 90% of the light to pass through and is easy to use with low tunnel systems like our Quick Hoops. It's soft, elastic, and durable, perfect for field use to help ensure that your crops thrive. Say goodbye to pest damage and hello to healthier, market-ready produce. Invest in Insectanet and see the difference it makes. Get Insectanet at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below.